Thanks for being here. Today we're going to talk about how to be a successful construction contractor. So myself as a business owner, contractor, I started my company and within 7 years I had 150 employees from zero and I was doing 50 million and I had to learn how to run a business. What's it take to run a great business? Great business has a vision. It knows where it wants to go. It has a plan. It has a plan of how to make a profit, how to win high margin customers, a talent development plan to attract and retain great people, great talent. And of course, it has systems. I always say replace yourself with systems. Systems run the business. I don't have to manage the people very hard if we follow the systems. And of course, we got to build a team. So what are we doing to make that happen? So the first thing I want you to realize is construction is changing. It's gotten more technical, more talent focused, more people focused. It's gotten a lot of technology, a lot of integrated software. The old school about, show up in a truck and run around and shake hands. It's all about contracts now. Why do you think they call it contracting? Because of contracts and documentation. So I've got to move myself up to the next level and be a pro, be a professional. I want to move to the next level. And so think about what you're going to do about production, systems, strategies, talent. I've got to have a plan to improve, what I call create a fix-it list to improve your company. And so to build a best-in-class business, construction business, you got to be a risk taker. You got to be willing to hire. You got to be willing to change. You got to be willing to innovate. You got to take time to train. You got to take time to manage and enforce systems. You got to get rid of good old Joe, who's a bad apple. You got to stop tolerating poor performers. You got to hold people accountable. All the things that make you crazy. I know what you want. You want to always continually moving. Get off the level you're at to a higher and better level. You want to make more money. You want to stop running in place. You want to continue to see the future. You want to have some wealth and some investment properties. You want to get super organized and super in control so things are going the way you want them, so you don't have to be there in all the chaos putting out fires all day. And you want to have a management team who runs your business so you don't have to worry about it. Your job is to get more good, profitable work. And so you can have a life and enjoy the benefits of business ownership. Why do you think people go into business? Why did you go into business? To enjoy the benefits and results of a business that works for you rather than you work for the business. So why are you in business? I know you want to make money. I know you want to have a great business. I know you want to have a life. I know you want to have some freedom. But you're in business to give you what you want. What do you want? We got to start with our vision. And so once again, we got to know what we want. We got to have a target, something to aim at. What are you aiming at? You want the life you're currently having or you want something better? I think we all want better. I call it a best-in-class business that works. And then once we have that, we can develop a plan, what I call my Biz Builder Blueprint system. We've got to install a system that'll take us to the next level. And then, of course, we got to keep track. Know what you want, have a plan, keep score. How you doing? You got to know your numbers. You got to do a monthly review. You got to have your management team meeting. You got to meet with your people. You got to do what you need to do. But I'm too busy. You got to stop and fix your business so you can hire great people, train them, organize them, and systemize them. If you're not willing to invest in your future, it ain't going to happen. So what I see is a lot of contractors are afraid to invest, afraid to dedicate time, energy, and money and to hire great people. So they hire cheap people and hope they can train them. Well, that never works. Well, it might work occasionally, but you don't need cheap people that you have to train. You need people who can run your business so you can go do what you should do. What should you be doing? You should be out getting higher margin work. You should be out enforcing your systems, holding people accountable, working with customers. That's where you make your money. You don't make it worrying whether the guys have doorknobs or nails out on the job every day. That's for your general manager, your project manager, your supervisor to take care of. So are you clear knowing what you want? So I've got what I call the Biz Builder Blueprint. It's going to be one of our free gifts after you watch this video. We'll give you the site to go get it at. But first of all, there's two sides to the business. There's get work and there's do work. Win work, manage and build work. So what do I need? I got myself as the owner. And then I've got to have a plan. Do you have a written plan to achieve what you want to achieve? And it covers all the aspects, your finances, your systems, your people, your sales, your marketing, all the things you need. Do you have a plan, a written plan? Do you have an improvement plan? And then we've got to have an org structure, an organizational structure where I lay out my job descriptions. Who's in charge of what? Who reports to who? And what each person must do on a regular basis. Then in order to manage those people, I've got to have regular meetings, management one-on-one meetings and group meetings. And then I've got to have the systems. Now these are in no order. You got, chicken or the egg. Systems, meetings, people. Yeah, that's right. You got to have them all. So systems, I got to have written systems so I can run like a machine. And then I got to have scorecards to keep track. Just like in golf, if I don't keep score, if you watch the NBA finals, who cares who wins if there's no score? Nobody cares. The stands would be empty, right? Just like in your company, if nobody knows the scores, why work so hard? And then eventually I want to build some investments. I want to have money so I can build my wealth and future and have an exit plan. And lastly, I've got to work on myself. So that's the do work part of the business. Now the grow work or the get work or the win work, I've got to have a marketing and sales strategy that generates high margin work, loyal customers, gets me into project opportunities where there's low competition, so I can actually get money, high money, and I can win more work than just normal. I don't want to have a win ratio on my bids of 10 to 1. I want to get 1 out of 2 or 3. In order to do that, I have to have a proactive marketing, sales, and business development program in place that sets me apart from my competition and differentiates our services and our value as better than anybody else in town. I want to be known as the best in my market. In order to make that happen, I have to have a plan. So what's your plan? What are you doing to get to the next level? That's what I want you to think about. So as we close out, think about a few things. I've got what I call the Biz Builder growth chart. First of all, we start as an employee and we get bit by the E-bug, the entrepreneurial bug. We say, I want to go out on my own. So we go out on our own. Step 2, you're self-employed, do everything yourself, business owner. You're in charge of everything. You might have 1 employee or maybe 2. Then you start having to get more customers because you do a good job. So you literally have to grow. So you move to the next level. And so you hire a few more people, maybe another crew, get some more jobs. And now you become the busy, hands-on business owner, stuck at the level of what you can control. So you are the control valve. You open or shut it, the more you do yourself, the more you shut that valve, the more you can't grow. Because you're not willing to let go, delegate, hold people accountable, tolerate poor performers. You're not willing to invest in higher priced professional people. You're stuck. It's almost like your wallet's wired to your brain. You're thinking with your wallet rather than your brain. Your brain knows better people get you better, but you just won't do it because it costs money. And so you're stuck. And finally you decide to put in a plan, a Biz Builder Blueprint plan, where you're going to move to the next level and put in those systems and fix and improve and innovate. And eventually you start slowly but surely getting better and better customers and better markup and better margins. And then we become eventually a best-in-class builder. That's where I want to be, where my company is running like a machine. It just works. I don't have to be there every hour. I have some freedom to go seek better opportunities for our company to do more sales, more revenue, more profit. And then eventually I start investing in passive income investment opportunities. Maybe I joint venture with a client. Maybe I find an old beat up manufacturing building and clean it up and repurpose it and rent it out. And I start generating some passive income along with the construction contract to remodel that building. And then eventually my business works. That's where I want to be. I want to be where where I'm the owner, not the doer. So the question for you is, where do you want to be? And where are you now? And what's it going to take to get to the next level? Okay, so if I can help you, I've got a website just for you to receive these workbooks and gifts for listening today. contractorbestinclass.com. And I'm going to give you the steps to success, Biz Builder Blueprint, and the formulas to make this happen. All right? So thanks for listening today. Hope to see you grow your business and make more money.